What is up, guys? Today we'll talk about the main chess strategy that allows you to win. I'm Grandmaster Igor Smirnov, and without further ado, let's rock and roll. We'll use this position as an example, but of course the same principle applies to any other position or game that you play. It is white to move, and please think about this yourself for a second, and then we'll discuss it together. Like, how would you play here if you're white? There are a whole lot of moves that you may consider, which makes it confusing. Like, we can see that black is quite active here with some pieces in the close proximity to your king. So maybe you think, okay, maybe I need to guard my king somehow. Maybe I want to trade off this queen on g3. And also you can see that he attacks this pawn on b2 and indirectly putting pressure all around. So maybe you want to say, okay, maybe I want to go rook e2 and trade off this rook. Or maybe just guard my pawn on b2 somehow, like go rook b1. Or maybe anything else, because basically you can play a whole lot of moves here, which makes it a hard choice. Let's try rook b1. Let's say, okay, let me just guard this pawn somehow. Well, the problem is the move is quite passive. It allows black to do whatever they wish to do, and they can indeed make use of this active queen, play c6, followed by bishop c7, and queen h2 checkmate. The plan is very simple, but there is not much white can do against it. For example, something like this, and because of this battery, there is queen h2 coming on the next move, and that is game over. So, how do you pick a move when you're not sure what to do, you have plenty of options to choose from, and you have no idea which one is the best? We're going to use that single most important strategy, which I call a GF. And no, it's not a gluten-free girlfriend. It means go forward. We basically look at the position from the other perspective. Like, typically, people look at their pieces that they have and they ask themselves where can they move them and do something. But what I suggest is the opposite version of that. You focus your attention on opponent's half of the board and you ask yourself, how can I go there and create threats? Typically you wish to attack something or capture something. So those are the things that you pay attention to. This actually makes your choice a lot easier because usually there are not many attacking moves that are available in the position. Usually there's just one or two. In this current case, what can you do to attack something on opponent's half of the board? How can you go forward? How can you even enter that territory? Again, there aren't many options. Like, the one option I can see is rook e8, which is a little bit interesting. It does not create a threat straight away because this rook on d8 is already guarded by the other one from d2, but nevertheless it puts some pressure on black. At least black can't easily do whatever they wish to do, they need to think about this. And if your opponent is kind enough to trade, he'll be checkmated because of the back rank checkmate. There is also the other move which follows the same logic, and that is the move rook to e7. We still enter the opponent's territory and we attack something. In this case, we do the same thing that he does unto us. We're applying the gold rule, so to say. So we're also hitting his pawns in the 7th rank. And therefore, we wish to capture this one. Therefore, this is truly an attacking move. By the way, an attacking move usually forces your opponent to defend. It actually creates the actual threat. Therefore, queen takes g7 is indeed a threat. After this, we'll pick up the other one. Black needs to start worrying about this and doing something. Let's say your opponent just ignores that because I don't see a way to defend those pawns anyway. Let's say he just decides to grab your pawn on b2. What would you play in this case? Well, obviously there is queen takes g7. Not a bad idea. You can try it out. But there is also another move which is a lot more impressive. I'll give you a couple seconds to think about this. You can try to find it out on your own. And then, da-da-dam, queen to d5. All of a sudden, that attacking move is truly devastating. We're putting this battery, threatening queen takes b7 checkmate, and we're also attacking the rook on d8. But he can't take our queen because of that bank rank checkmate on the next move. So that is truly impressive. Luckily for black, they can still defend by playing c6, which blocks the diagonal as well as guards this rook on d8. However, after this, we can still apply the same logical thinking. So here, I do hope that you will find the next move. With queen d5, it was hard, like, I agree. But the next move you can find, so I'll give you a couple seconds to think about this. The way of thinking is still the same. You focus your attention on opponent's half of the board, and you ask yourself, how can I take or attack something there? Again, as you ask yourself the right question, usually the answer is relatively natural, and the answer is rook takes b7. You want to remove that barricade on the way of your battery and hopefully checkmate him, and that indeed makes it very dangerous for black. The king cannot move back because in this case there is queen to b7 checkmate, therefore queen a6 is forced, But after this king is still very exposed, and we can keep attacking it along those light squares. Queen a4 check, the king cannot go back, so they have to cover, we give another check, and basically that is end of story. They can't go here because of queen c6 checkmate, and if they cover, that pins the rook, and we can make use of that by going pawn to a4. By the way, there is an interesting line here that computer finds, and from human perspective it's quite clear that white is winning here because we attack this overly exposed king and it's hard for black to do anything. But anyway, the line that computer gives is pretty impressive. So here after queen e5, take, and now queen e6 check, we keep attacking. They can't cover by the bishop because of this rook a1 check, so queen b6 is forced, and after queen e2, yet another check, queen b5, there is a move that you may try to find here, and let this be, no, I mean, let me show you the solution for simplicity. So it's white to move, but you may still think about this for a few seconds. So the winning move is quite impressive, because yeah, you could try to deliver another check, but that is just a repetition. And the winning move is paradoxical rook to b1. You kinda sack the rook, but they can't take it. They can't take the rook because their own queen is pinned. So they're forced to trade queens, but all of a sudden this ending is going to be a checkmate for black. They can stall it for one move, but that is a checkmate. A very rare situation where you need to convert into an endgame to checkmate him. Let me now show you how universal that principle is. Let's say this time you're playing black. Your opponent does not know the concept, therefore he sees that this rook is active and he goes rook e2. What would you play here? More specifically, what would you play before watching this video and after it? Now, I'm pretty sure that many of you are guilty of not watching my past videos and not knowing that to take is a mistake. So I'm quite sure that many would trade here rooks on e2, which does not give black much or anything. What's the correct approach? It's the same thing, gf, go forward. And rook d1 basically wins the game, because now you're putting that strong pressure. They can't trade, that's going to be a back rank checkmate. Also, they can't go back now, because you control this square twice, you're going to just capture it. And therefore they're lost. Here's a quick test for you. It is black to play and win. Please think about this and write the answer in comments down below. Today we talked about the main chess strategy, and if there are a few more fundamental ideas, not many actually, just a few, but still, if you know them all, then you're really that all-rounded chess player who is ready to go and crush them. If you wish to know all of these strategies, I've got a free masterclass that you can access by clicking the link up there, and hopefully I'll see you there.